We have a go for engine start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff of Discovery.
Scott Parazynski is a man on a mission. Well, let's make that missions.
I've been very fortunate in my life to see our home planet from many different perspectives, from the top of the planet on the summit of Mount Everest to on orbit and going out on numerous spacewalks to well below the ocean's surface on the deep water dives and many incredible adventures in between.
We have a go for engine start.
Scott flew to space 5 times on the space shuttle.
3, 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff of Discovery with a crew of 6 astronaut heroes and 1 American legend.
Most people remember him as a crewmate of Senator John Glenn when he flew on Discovery in 1998. But Scott considers a daring rescue spacewalk as the highlight of his space shuttle career.
And not too many people in the office could do what you're doing right now, Scott.
I hope they don't have to. The damages, as anticipated, there looks to be about 8 to 10 inches in length, just ripped clean from the edge of the panel.
It's not like you can just run down to Home Depot and get a solar array repair kit. You've got to use the materials that you have on board and the skill set that you have on board. All the work up to the 11th hour, to my part, had been done so brilliantly, so perfectly, and now it was on my shoulders and I had to deliver. And so I was really concerned that I would let the team down.
Risky as that spacewalk was, when Scott returned to Earth, he set his sights on an even more perilous goal, the summit of Mount Everest. Over the years, more than 200 people have died trying to reach the tallest point on the planet. Scott knew his life would depend on teamwork, his careful planning, and his drive. Scott was the first person who had ever left the planet to try to climb Everest.
A lot of scary ice up here, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, I've been dreaming about Everest ever since I first read about the mountain when I was 5 or 6 years old.
The books that I read about were all about explorers and adventurers. Jacques Cousteau, Sir Edmund Hillary, Mallory, Irvine, John Glenn, Yuri Gagarin. These are the folks that I really looked up to. And certainly, as mountains go, Everest is the ultimate prize.
Scott made his first Everest summit attempt in 2008.
I think if you didn't have some fears for this, you're not firing on all cylinders, you know.
After 2 months of acclimating and climbing with the team, there was trouble, excruciating back pain.
Hopefully we keep our wits about ourselves and are honest with ourselves to know when it's time to turn back.
Part of him wanted to press on. He was less than 5,000 feet and 24 hours from his long-sought goal.
And I decided that after some careful reflection that if I did go on, I'd be jeopardizing my own life. I'd be jeopardizing the summit success of my teammates and maybe even placing them in a rescue situation, a desperate life or death situation. So I did the only thing that was right, which was to descend.
You know, I'm giving it a good college try, so just let us know if he's coming down. I'm coming down. Okay.
It was the right call. Scott had suffered a ruptured disc and needed surgery. That painful, perilous experience could easily have been the end of Scott's Everest conquest.
There's our destination. I can't believe it. So beautiful.
The following season, the spring of 2009, I was successful in summiting Everest. One of the great experiences of my life. You know, those 30 minutes on top of the world, wouldn't trade for anything. I was able to see an orbital sunrise from the top of the world. You can actually see very clearly the curvature of the Earth, and I arrived just prior to sunrise, so I could see the sun rising from beyond the limb of the Earth, just as it does in space. But in space, you're going at 17,500 miles an hour, so the sun comes up very quickly.
Scott thrives by pushing boundaries. On top of everything else, he is a pilot in numerous high-performance aircraft. Before he came to NASA, Scott worked as an emergency room doctor, a place where Scott knew leadership and teamwork can make the difference between life and death. Scott Parazynski is a man who knows a lot about risk firsthand, but he is much more than a thrill seeker. He makes decisions based on a highly refined formula that factors in peril and profit. He believes you cannot have one without the other. He is an enthusiastic evangelizer of his philosophy of managing risks to all kinds of audiences.
What I share is just my approach to lofty challenges, and it's basically a willingness to accept a certain amount of risk, to prepare for that risk, to really study all the perils and pitfalls along the way, but also prepare for success.
What's next for Scott Parazynski? Give him a call and he'll tell you firsthand. No risk involved in that.